in this case. He's actually the boyfriend of Braden's mom.
But see, I can't be there. I can't be there for my brother because that man killed me that day and took all this away from my little bubby and me.
Hello everyone. Today, I want to share the heartbreaking story of a little boy named Braden, whose life was tragically cut short because of the very people who were supposed to protect him. This story is painful, but it's also important because it forces us to ask, how many more children must suffer before the world pays attention? First at 11 tonight, remembering young Braden Ferguson. Authorities say he's the victim of child abuse who died from his injuries last night. 22-year-old Ryan Lucas St. John is the suspect in this case. He's actually the boyfriend of Braden's mom, and he's in the Montgomery County Jail tonight. But see, I can't be there. I can't be there for my brother because that man killed me that day and took all this away from my little bubby and me. I am 4 years old now, and I should not know the word kill. But I do. This is what happened to me the day he took my life away. He took my life and everything in life had to offer me. At Dayton Children's Hospital, there are doctors who have seen everything. Car crashes, falls from rooftops, gunshot wounds. But when 2-year-old Braden came to them for the third time, experienced surgeons were stunned. Nurses who had cared for this little boy before couldn't hold back their tears. Braden Ferguson lay on the operating table with injuries like those from a fall off a 5-story building. This time, only a miracle could save him. This little boy had been betrayed by everyone. Kelsey Martin, the woman who violated the restraining order by continuing to meet with her son's torturer, got pregnant by the abuser while her child was recovering from skull fractures, left her son alone with the killer, knowing about his violent tendencies, smoked marijuana while her child was dying in the next room. You won't believe it, but this woman avoided any criminal responsibility. Not one charge, not one day in prison, nothing. Police chose laziness over investigation. Social services chose bureaucracy over saving a child. The system knew the boy was in danger, but didn't want to save him. Instead, it became the perfect crime by the system against a child. This is the story of how America kills its children through its own institutions. Friends, before we dive into this painful but vital story, I need to ask for your help. Every like, every subscription, every share of this video is a chance for another child to stay alive. Share this story everywhere you can and leave your city and viewing time in the comments. It's important for me to know where people are ready to protect children. On March 27, 2014, a boy with angelic blue eyes was born in Dayton, Ohio. They named him Braden Dwayne Lee Ferguson. His parents, 17-year-old Kelsey Martin and 17-year-old Daryl Ferguson, were still children themselves. Braden's first months of life were filled with the ordinary joys of a young family. Kelsey and Daryl, despite their young age, tried to be good parents. Braden was a calm baby. He slept through the nights, smiled at his parents, reached for bright toys. Kelsey adored her little boy. She could hold him for hours, sing lullabies, photograph every day of his life. For a 17-year-old girl, motherhood became the meaning of life. But this family happiness was destined to be destroyed very soon. When Braden was only 3 months old, an event happened that would forever change this family's life. In June 2014, his father, Daryl Ferguson, and a friend beat a man named Ryan Adams. They beat him so brutally that the victim died 2 months later from his injuries. Daryl Ferguson got 11 years in prison for murder. Little Braden was left without a father, and Kelsey was alone with a baby in her arms. Despite the tragedy that struck the family, Braden continued to grow up as a happy and cheerful child. He started smiling and laughing early. His infectious child's laughter could melt the coldest heart. He loved water. His eyes lit up when he saw water. Whether it was a bathtub, pool, or even a puddle on the street, water was his element, his happiness. By 1 year old, he had become a real charmer. A blond boy with huge blue eyes who gave smiles to everyone around him. Braden was an active child. As soon as he learned to walk, he began actively exploring the world, imitating adults in everything. Grandparents spent a lot of time with Braden, trying to replace his absent father. The boy loved to eat well, chewing his food long and carefully, always leaving his plate empty. He was obsessed with the movie Finding Dory. Bright fish underwater adventures. Braden could watch this movie endlessly, repeating words after the characters that he could barely pronounce. He loved being photographed, which was surprising for a small child. Braden instinctively smiled at the camera with a sweet smile, radiating such pure joy that it squeezed your heart with tenderness. Braden's faithful friends were the family dogs Bella, Alex, Cookie, and Chance, and Mama's kitten. The boy grew up not knowing about the tragedy that destroyed his family. For him, the world was full of wonders, love, and limitless possibilities. Grandparents spent a lot of time with Braden trying to replace his absent father. Cousins adored their little brother and were always happy to play with him. Unfortunately, the large extended family couldn't stop a demon from entering little Braden's life. Now, Kelsey was a lonely 18-year-old mother with a small son and a husband in prison. She needed support, a man's shoulder, and in 2015, she started dating 21-year-old Ryan Luke St. John. Only at first glance could Luke seem like an ordinary working-class guy. Kelsey didn't have enough life experience to see deeper. In reality, Luke was a loser with aggressive tendencies. Without steady work, without life goals, he saw easy prey in young Kelsey and her small son. Luke St. John entered their life like a predator. At first, he was caring. He helped with Braden, played with him, pretended to be a loving stepfather. Kelsey was blinded by the attention. She didn't see that she was bringing a monster home. And Braden trusted the way children trust, completely unconditionally, expecting protection where he received only pain. The first serious incident happened in October 2015. Braden, who had barely learned to walk, ended up in the hospital with dehydration and a fall. The official diagnosis was a viral infection. Doctors did blood tests showing elevated liver enzymes, a sign of internal injuries. However, no one dug deeper. No one asked sharp questions. The system gave its first failure. Braden returned home to his mother, and Luke St. John to his future killer. November 19, 2015 is a date that everyone involved in the tragedy should remember. The day when the truth became obvious, but the system turned away. 18-month-old Braden was admitted to Dayton Children's Hospital again. His condition shocked the medical staff. The child was covered in bruises completely. His heavenly blue eyes were impossible to see on his swollen, bruised face. With a trembling hand, the doctor wrote in Braden's medical chart all the new details revealed by the medical examination. Bruises on face and head, strangulation marks on neck, cigarette burns on legs and ankles, linear wounds on thighs and calves, 2 skull fractures, liver damage from blows to the abdomen. The doctor wrote in the chart, injuries consistent with child abuse. Braden couldn't have hurt himself like this. Someone was systematically torturing an 18-month-old child. Police arrested Luke St. John. Detective Lindsay Dolaney questioned him at the station. Luke told a fairy tale. I was playing with Braden. I threw him in the air and caught him by the neck. We were boxing for fun. He fell out of the playpen. Detective Dolaney recorded this version as believable. Strangulation marks were play. Skull fractures were falling from the playpen. Cigarette burns were an accident. Luke St. John was released after 48 hours without charges. The prosecutor's office requested additional information. Detective Delaney ignored the request 4 times in a row. Braden was in the hospital. Doctors fought for his life. The child survived but remained in serious condition. The court gave Braden to his great-great-aunt Dawn Patrick. A long rehabilitation lay ahead. The court issued a ban. Luke St. John must not approach Braden. It seemed the nightmare was over. The boy survived and the boy was safe. But as it turned out, the most terrible battle for the little angel was still ahead. While Braden was recovering at Dawn's, fighting 2 skull fractures and liver damage, his mother made a choice that shocked even hardened social workers. Kelsey Martin continued secretly meeting with Luke St. John, the man who nearly killed her son. Imagine her child had been in intensive care with skull fractures. Doctors fought for his life. And after all that, the mother meets and has sex with his torturer. Soon Kelsey became pregnant by Luke St. John. When the family found out, they frantically contacted social services. She's pregnant. He is the father. If the restraining order forbids her from seeing him, how did she get pregnant? The social worker cynically replied, I don't think she looks pregnant to me. Kelsey Martin did something that contradicts the very nature of motherhood. She chose her abuser against her maimed child. Social services knew this. It was written in black and white in reports. January 7th, 2016. Kelsey is still seeing the offender. March 16th, 2016. Kelsey's car was seen at Luke St. John's house. Everyone knew. No one acted. Braden celebrated his second birthday with his family, having no idea that he would soon be back in the same house as the man who had tortured him. August 22nd, 2016. The court returned Braden to his mother. Kelsey had completed the rehabilitation plan, took parenting classes, attended therapy. Braden returned to the house where the man who had nearly killed him once before was waiting for him. November 3rd, 2016. Kelsey gave birth to a son by Luke St. John. She named him Ryan after his father, the same man who nearly killed her firstborn. In photos from that time, you can see how Braden adored his little brother. He smiled, hugged the baby, was proud to become a big brother. Braden didn't realize that his beloved little brother was the son of the man who tortured him. Childhood love doesn't know these horrifying truths. Braden eagerly waited for his little brother to grow up and become a playmate. Unfortunately, this was never destined to happen. Early 2017, Braden lived in an apartment with his mother, her abuser boyfriend Luke St. John, and his little brother Ryan. Social services were supposed to monitor the situation, but visits were formal. Braden was subtly changing. He was no longer that joyful child. Now he lived in constant fear. Luke St. John was aggressive. He yelled at Braden for any little thing. Slaps became a daily norm. The child began stuttering from stress. He was rarely seen outside. Relatives refused meetings with Braden under plausible pretexts. Neighbors regularly heard screaming from the apartment. No one called police. So came February 13th, 2017, the last day of Braden Ferguson's life. 7:30 in the morning, Kelsey woke up from a call from Luke's mother. She needed to go to court about expired license plates. Braden asked to use the toilet. Kelsey took him, then put him in bed next to Luke. The child didn't want Mama to leave. He fussed, clung to her. 8 o'clock in the morning, Kelsey left. She left her 2-year-old son alone with the man who had already hurt him. What happened next? Only Luke St. John knows and a dead boy. But thanks to testimony from Luke St. John's cellmate, police managed to reconstruct what happened between 8 and 11 in the morning. Braden was crying for Mama. Luke put on a cartoon for him, but the boy continued whimpering. Then Braden threw up. This drove Luke into a rage. He grabbed the child by the face and forcefully hit his head against the wall. Then several more times. Then he grabbed him and screamed, "Shut up!" and threw him on the floor. Rejoicing that the boy finally went quiet, Luke went out to smoke. When he returned, Braden was lying on the floor, motionless. Luke picked up the lifeless body of the boy and put him in bed. He pretended the child was sleeping. For the next 3 hours, 2-year-old Braden Ferguson was dying in agony while Luke carefully distracted the mother's attention from him. However, she was quite willing to be distracted. 10:30 in the morning. Kelsey returned from court. She went into the bedroom. Braden was sleeping in bed. Kelsey and Luke smoked marijuana and watched a 2-hour movie. Kelsey peeked in on Braden, turned on Finding Dory for him in case he woke up. The child looked half asleep. In reality, he had been in a coma from skull fractures for several hours. Then they went to shower and have sex. Only at 1:00 p.m. did Kelsey decide to wake Braden for lunch. When she went into the room, she saw that Braden was blue. He wasn't breathing. "Oh God!" I went in to wake him up, and his lips are blue. "He's not breathing. Please hurry." Kelsey screamed into the 911 phone. The ambulance arrived. It immediately took Braden and Kelsey to the hospital. Luke St. John stayed home, but when police arrived, Luke disappeared. He ran while medics fought for the life of the child he had killed. Police searched for Luke for hours. They found him only at 2:00 in the morning at his brother's place. On the way to the station, Luke asked the officer, "How's my son?" The officer replied, "Your son is in intensive care with his mother." Luke was surprised. "We're not talking about the same son. I'm asking about Ryan." Luke St. John never once asked about Braden. Meanwhile, at Dayton Children's Hospital in the neurosurgery department, a multi-hour operation was underway. Doctors tried to reduce pressure on the Braden's brain. They fought for the little boy's life until the last second. The examination revealed catastrophic damage to Braden. Massive skull fracture, extensive brain hemorrhage, critical brain swelling. The boy was brought to the hospital too late. The injuries were incompatible with life. February 14th, 2017, Valentine's Day, the day of love. Doctors conducted tests for brain activity. The result killed hope in the family's hearts. Braden's brain was dead. The family of a 2-year-old boy who they say is brain dead is asking the public to watch for signs of child abuse. This after that family had their life turned upside down when 2-year-old Braden Ferguson was taken to the hospital Monday in critical condition. As Braden's family mourns, they ask the people who suspect child abuse to take action, no matter how difficult. Find somebody. Call somebody. Get your kid away from it. It's not worth it. You will regret it later. Your heart ain't going to be able to handle it. Kelsey Martin and Braden's biological father, calling from prison, made the decision to disconnect life support. 6:49 p.m. Little Braden Ferguson's heart stopped forever. He was 2 years, 10 months, and 18 days old. He died on Valentine's Day, taking with him all the love he could give to this cruel world. April 6th, 2018, a jury found Ryan Luke St. John guilty of murdering Braden Ferguson. May 1st, 2018, he received a sentence 18 years to life imprisonment. Only 18 years for the brutal murder of a 2-year-old child. Even the touching appeal from Kelsey Martin, who finally remembered what it meant to be a mother, didn't affect the sentence. My name is Braden Dwayne Lee Ferguson. I was almost 3 years old when my mom's boyfriend beat me up and killed me. I don't know what I did to make him so mad that he hurt me the way he did. I don't know why he ever did not like me. I don't know why he didn't love me like you love my bubby. I tried to be good. I really did. I just wanted my mommy that morning. I miss her. I wanted to go with her, but I couldn't. So I cried. I cried, and he got mad at me for crying. I only have a few minutes to say what I have to say. So, I'll try to be quick with this, but I love to talk. The day he hurt me so bad that I couldn't never see my mommy or daddy again. I can never see my little bubby. I can never see my mama, my papa, my aunts, uncles, cousins, or my dog Bella. I am now 4. I celebrated my birthday in heaven. I should be getting ready to go to preschool, but I can't. They don't have preschool in heaven. When I turn 5, I would have been going to kindergarten, but I can't go. They don't have kindergarten in heaven either. I will never go to elementary, high school, or college. While I'm in high school, I should have been able to learn how to drive a car and graduate. I can never play football or basketball, soccer, or hockey. I will never earn my first paycheck, as I can never have my first job. I will never know what it is like to find my soulmate, date her, and marry her. I will never have children. I will never be a daddy. I will never be a papal. All of this was taken from me the day that the man killed me. I can never pick fluffies for my mommy and my mama. And I love to pick fluffies. I will never be able to roller skate or ride a bike. And I love my Uncle Tyler's big bike. I can never play with my mama's cat. I can never hunt for Easter eggs, go trick-or-treating with my mommy, eat turkey at Thanksgiving, open Christmas presents, or see Santa. The simplest things like eating chicken nuggets and watching movies I can no longer do. And I love my chicken nuggets with ketchup. All of this was taken from me the day the man killed me. I can't grow up and grow old with my little brother, my bubby. This was taken away from both of us the day that man killed me. I should be there to watch him grow up, watch him learn how to walk and talk and ride a bike. I should be there to get in trouble with him. I should be there on his first day of school. I should be there with my little brother as his best man when he gets married and has a bachelor party for him. But see, I can't be there. I can't be there for my brother because that man killed me that day and took all this away from my little bubby and me. I am 4 years old now and I should not know the word kill, but I do. This is what happened to me the day he took my life away. He took my life and everything in life had to offer me. Me being only 4, I'm not old enough to understand the word hate. What I do, it is what it's caused that man to kill me that day. He hated me so much he beat me up and took my life away. Punishment. I'm only 4 and only know the punishments my mommy gave me, which wasn't much because he was only 2 and still learning good from bad when I was killed. I shouldn't know the word, but I do. What is a fair punishment for a person who kills a child because he was crying? Me being only 4 years old asked the judge to punish that man just the same as he punished me. He took my life that day, and it would be fair to take his as well. Only he will be still able to see me talk. Only he will still be able to see and talk to his mom and dad, brothers, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, and cousins. He will still be able to wake up and walk and talk and breathe. What he won't be able to do if you take his life, he will not be able to hurt my little brother like he did me. For I think that is a fair punishment, and I know from heaven my little brother will forever be safe from this man, and justice will be served for me. St. John can be released in 2034. He'll be 39 years old, young enough to start a new family and gain access to children again. Kelsey Martin, the woman who violated the restraining order by continuing to meet with her son's torturer, got pregnant by the abuser while her child was recovering from skull fractures, left her son alone with the killer, knowing about his violent tendencies, smoked marijuana while her child was dying in the next room. You won't believe it, but this woman avoided any criminal responsibility. Not one charge, not one day in prison, nothing. Montgomery County Social Services bore no responsibility. Detective Lindsay Daney, who ignored 4 requests from the prosecutor's office and allowed the killer to stay near the child, received punishment that mocks Braden Ferguson's memory. Loss of 5 vacation days. The younger son, Ryan, is in foster care. Perhaps this is the only thing that saved him from his older brother's fate. Braden will forever remain a 2-year-old boy. He smiles at his little brother from the grave. He'll never see the sequel to Finding Dory. He'll never learn to swim in a real pool. He'll never go to school, fall in love, become a father. Braden remained at the age when the world seemed magical and adults were protectors. When he trusted everyone and loved everyone. Rest in peace, little angel Braden. I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who watched this video all the way through. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case in the comments, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd also like to send a special thank you to everyone who has donated to support my channel. Your support means the world to me and gives me the motivation to keep making new and interesting investigations for you, my wonderful viewers. Thank you all so much.